Well, it depends on what reality is, I suppose. First of all, we don't get involved in sort of the details of domestic politics, whether it's the Constitution or things like that. So we were not involved at all in any ideas about requirements to make any changes in the system here. But I would say, President Obama is a good example. But again, if you look at our history, it took more than 100 years from the time of our Civil War, which was fought over the issue largely of slavery, for an African American to be elected. So you've only been around 20-some years, so it took us a long, long time. So it's not as if everything was solved immediately. Nothing like this is solved immediately. It takes time. But you've done some things here. For example, President Trajkovski was elected. He was not your classic Macedonian. He was a Protestant, not an Orthodox. So that was an example of electing somebody who was not in the normal sort of mainstream of society, and he was a very successful president here. And there are other examples. We just had an election in Romania where a person of German background actually just has won the presidency there, which is unusual for them. So there are other examples around. But again, in a place like Romania, it's taken a long time as well. So I think you have to be patient to some extent, but keep working. Someday, an Albanian will be the president here, I'm sure. I don't know when. I hope it doesn't take 100 years. But you've had Albanians as Minister of Defense, many other important positions. So, deputy prime ministers in charge of European integration. So, there are examples.